This conference will now be recorded.
Hi Radhika, hi Ram Mohan, hi Sudhir. So guys, in the previous session, whatever we had seen was how to connect to the database and how to transform the data, right?
Correct.
How to create a sample application using Anypoint Studio, right?
Yes, Mahesh.
Hello?
Yes,
Same,
Mahesh.
right? Okay. So today what we are just going to see is we are just going to create a new project based on the database here. So here I will once again explain the structure of Anypoint Studio. This is an Anypoint Studio where we are just going to do the development part, and whenever we are just creating any of the project, the total details of our project will be persisting on the left hand side in the package explorer. This database file.xml file is called as a mule configuration file where we are just going to do the development part. And here we are having the source main resources, test main resources. So whenever we are using any of the HTTP connector, so whatever the jar files which are persisting under this HTTP, these jar files will be acting as a dependency files in order to execute this HTTP connector internally. And since this Anypoint Studio, Anypoint platform, everything is developed under the Java platform, so this JRE system library jar files are acting as a dependency files in order to execute the project internally. Mule Server 4.1.4 Enterprise Edition jar files are acting as a dependency files in order to deploy our project. Since we are not going to download any of the local servers over here, so these jar files are acting as dependency files in order to deploy our project internally. Just a moment, guys. Sorry guys, there was an urgent call from the client. Sorry for that. Guys, can you hear me? Radhika, Rammohan, Sudhir.
Yeah, yes, Mahesh.
Sorry for that, guys. So here, this is called as a canvas where we are just going to do the development part where we can drag and drop the connectors from the mule palette to the canvas and develop our APIs. And this we are calling it as a mule palette where we are just going to drag and drop the connector scopes and operations from the mule palette to the canvas and develop them. And here in MuleSoft, we have two perspectives. One is design perspective and another one is debug perspective. The design perspective is nothing but where we are just going to do the development part, and the debug perspective is nothing but where we are just going to debug our APIs after developing them, how it is picking the values internally. Those are all things we can check it by using this debug perspective. The console is just used to deploy, check the output of our application, whether our project is deployed or not, or else we can, if we are facing any of the exceptions. The problems are nothing but after creating the project, if you are just having any of the problems, that will be displayed under the problems over here. And new properties is nothing but whenever we drag and drop any of the connector into the canvas, and if we double tap on the connector, the total details of the connector will be displayed under the problems. So here, today what we are just going to do is we are just going to fetch the data from the database and see how the Maven works. Okay, what is the Maven dependency, how to add in jar file, and how to transform the fields as well. Okay, these are the things which we are just going to see in today's session. So at the starting point, after fetching the data from the database, in order to display it as our response in the browser, we just need the HTTP listener connector, as we know. So if I just type HTTP, this is a listener connector, and this HTTP listener connector is just used to listen the request and display the response in the browser with the help of port number and end path. So here under the connector configuration, we can click on the plus tab. So here, if you are just doing it for the first time, you can test your connection. Here, this HTTP listener configuration is just used to listen the request and display the response in the browser with the help of port number and end path. So the test connection is successful. That means we are successfully able to connect it to the MuleSoft database. We are successfully connected to the HTTP listener configuration, and that is working fine. And now the end path, I'm just naming it as in /db. That is nothing but database. In a project, we'll be having n number of APIs in this way. Okay. So if in order to call a particular individual API as our response, we are just using this /db as our end path. Under this advanced, just using the get method in order to get the total data as our response. So whatever the data we are providing in our API, in order to retrieve the total data, we are just using the get method there. So if I search for the database connector in order to fetch the data, so here there are many connectors which are persisting. So here bulk delete connector is used to delete the records, and bulk insert connector is used to insert the records. Bulk update is used to update the records. So here, since we just want to fetch the data, we are just using select operation, and select connector under the database is used to fetch the data, retrieve the data. So under this connector configuration, we are just going to click on this plus tab. So here we are having different kinds of database connections over here. Data source, Derby, generic, MySQL, Oracle. So here I just want to go with the MySQL database connection, since we are going to connect to the MuleSoft database. And since the MuleSoft people are using the MySQL database connection in order to store their data, So we are using this MySQL database connection in order to fetch the data from MuleSoft database. So here I am just providing the credentials, whatever are required, and mudb.mulesoft-training.com. 3306 is our port number, Mule is our username, Mule is our password, training is our database, name of the database. If I test my connection, so here why the test connection is not successful, because here in order to connect this Anypoint Studio with the MySQL database connection here, so we just need a jar file which will be acting as a dependency file in order to connect this MySQL database connection to the Anypoint Studio. So here we are having three options. The add recommended libraries is nothing but we are having an inbuilt option in Mule 4 Anypoint Studio 7 version. So we can directly add it. So where we are just going for the Mule 3. So in the Mule 3 version, there are no other options except use local file. So here I am just going to pick the use local file and I will just let you know how to use it. Since we are not having a jar file downloaded in it, and how to choose the jar file, how to identify it, whether this jar file we just need it. Since we are just looking for MySQL, and since we are treating everything as a connector and everything is developed under the Java platform, so I just want to go with the MySQL connector Java jar file. If you just type it in the Google, and this is the URL, I'm just going to share it for you. So here it is asking to choose which version. Since there is no Windows, and if you are using Windows, here they are given choose platform independent. So I will just choose the platform independent option, and I just need to download this zip file. So after downloading the zip file, so this is a zip file. After downloading the zip file, we just need to extract it. So this is the file, and this is the jar file which we just need to use. So here I just want to browse this jar file. This is the jar file I just want to pick, and if I just click on OK, the jar file will be uploaded there. And if I test my connection in Mule 3, okay, in the Anypoint Studio 6 version, we are just uploading the jar file in the same way if we are not using the Maven in it. The Maven is inbuilt in Mule 4, but the Maven we should externally installize it in the Mule 3. So the test connection is successful. That means we are successfully able to connect it to the MuleSoft database over here, and we can click on OK. So here I am just naming it as a select star from American. Since we are connected to the MuleSoft database, I just want to fetch the data from the American table. So here from the American table, I just want to fetch the data from the MuleSoft database. Since we are connected to the MuleSoft database, so we'll be fetching it. In the output, you can check it. These are the fields I just want to fetch it. It is resolving the metadata. So here we just got the output in the array object format. As you can see, this is the output we are getting from the American table from the MuleSoft database. And as we know, since whatever the data which is persisting in the MuleSoft database is in the Java format, I can drag and drop this transform message connector. Okay, so whatever the payload is nothing but response, as we know, which is coming from the MuleSoft database. I just want it in the JSON format. How we are just transforming this data? By using DataWave language, by using 2.0 version in it. And I am just going to apply the logger. So previously we had uploaded the jar file by using the first option. Okay, use recommended libraries, which is an inbuilt in it. This time we had added the jar file. Okay, after we had downloaded the jar file externally and we had uploaded it. Okay, sure. Actually, since we had seen this project in the last session itself, so that is the reason I had gone a bit fast, Ramohan. Just let me know at the same time, like. Getting deployed here, and what is the project which is getting deployed here? These Mule Server 4.1.4 Enterprise Edition jar files are acting as a dependency files in order to deploy this project. At the part of deployment, my PC, my laptop is acting as my server here. Our project had been deployed over here, and we can move to the browser in order to check the response. 8081/ DB is our endpoint. So here we are able to get this total data as our response in the JSON format. The 11 IDs we are able to get it as our response. So now, are you having any doubts up to here? How to add the jar file, how to download it, how we have transform the data, anything up to here?
Hello, Mahesh.
Yes, Mohan.
Yeah, can you show me once again how to select the jar file in the database? Actually, I have downloaded the jar file.
Okay.
Here, where you can select the jar file?
Here under the edit option,
Okay.
if you click on edit, here we will be able to connect to it.
Here are having three options now. One is add recommended libraries. Use local file. You have to select use local.
Use local file, right? Use local file.
Okay.
Okay. After
And then
downloading it, this is the jar file.
Yeah, I have selected the path.
Yes. Okay. Actually, you can practice it, Ramohan, because
Okay.
like In the recorded videos also, we can practice it, and you can ask me in the next session.
Okay.
Because in the session, if you are practicing it, we will be lagging with the sessions, right? That's it.
Okay.
Apart from that, okay?
Yeah, Mahesh,
Because
can you please
there is-
go to the listener, HTTP listener?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so there I have observed some size, not here, somewhere I have observed some size. Can you please scroll down? I have
What you had
observed
observed?
some in-memory size and units. 1024 by default is there.
Your
In-memory
voice.
size. Mahesh, I have observed in-memory size somewhere 1024 KBs.
Ramon, can you hear Radhika clearly?
Yeah, I'm able to hear
Yeah.
you, Mahesh.
Okay. Can you say what she's saying?
Yeah, you have to scroll down in the studio. She's asking scroll on the studio.
Okay. Where to scroll down? These are the options.
Yeah. Here only. I think.
Mahesh, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Now I am able to.
No, I have observed in-memory size as a 1024 and KB as a unit somewhere in the HTTP listener while configuring. Even I forgot exactly the here.
Advanced
Okay.
options.
Under the response,
Advanced.
having
No, advanced options. I
this.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
what,
Memory
yeah,
is just
yeah. So
asking the
how
memory
to
inside.
define that?
You can define it, right? If it is in KB or if it is in MB, GB, bytes,
So
you
what
can
is the
define
max?
it. The
Means this is
data
the
you
size
just
of
need
the
to
payload,
fetch it.
correct?
I did not get it.
No, this is the size of the payload or what, Mahesh?
Yes, size of the response.
Size
How
of the
much?
response, not request,
Yes,
correct?
how much response it can collect?
So
This
what is the
API.
max limitation here?
Here you can see, right? MB, GB, byte as well. Okay.
So I can add how many ZBs I want. I can add, right? So what it will handle.
Yes.
And request. Do you have any limitations on the request load?
No limitations, because in the like if in the real time we will be having bytes as well. Okay. If there is a limitation, why? What is the use of this technology, right?
Okay. So for
The
example, if I
1024 is
have 1 lakh records in the input, for example, in the REST API, so somebody will send the 1,000 orders or some very huge payload, very huge payload in the JSON format. So it will accept, right?
It will accept. That is what I'm saying.
It can process, right?
Yes.
this 1024 default size, or you have to change according to requirement.
See, it is by default mentioned in it. If you want to change it, you can change it.
Okay.
See, if whatever the configurations you just want to do in your laptop, you can do it, right?
Okay.
In your application, whatever you are designing, also that is your wish. Since they are given all these options, like they are directly showing these options for you. No need to have much of confusion in it. Okay, whatever the payload we are receiving and displaying it for the users, how much? Either it should be in GB, MB, it should collect. So since we are not collecting that heavy database data, by default, that is okay for me. Okay? Any doubts? Guys? Sudhir? Are you having any doubts?
No, Mahesh. Carry on.
Radhika, Ramohan, any doubts?
No, Mahesh.
No.
Okay. So here in each and every project, whatever we are just creating, okay, there is a pom.xml file here. Okay. So here the pom.xml file is nothing but there is a Maven dependency which is called as a build tool which we are using. So previously by default, when we had added a jar file, it had downloaded automatically without downloading the jar file and everything. It had downloaded it automatically. but it is downloading a regular version 5.1.46. If this version is not working fine, then we can go for the add Maven dependency option. So here it is picking the code. If you don't want this version by default, you can go for the Maven central repository. So if you search for MySQL, see here, this is the jar file, and you are having 82 versions in it. If that version is not working for you by default, which whatever you are adding, so you can pick this version. You can copy it here and you can paste it. If you want to change the version by default, if you don't want to do anything, so you can. If I click on the finish tab, it will be. So why we are doing it? So it is downloading the jar file. By using that code, it will be able to download the jar file from the Maven repository. No need to add it again. And what are the drawbacks of adding the jar file locally? For example, let us assume that if we 3 are team members, okay, like once I had developed a project, after that if I am just sharing the code to you, so since the jar file location in my PC and in your PC will be differing, so it will not upload the jar file. We just need to re-upload the jar file again and again whenever we are just going to import the project. So instead of doing it, whatever the jar file we had added here, that will be persisting in the pom.xml file. As you can see here, the dependency file. And by using the internet, by using the Maven dependency code, it will be able to download the jar file. No need to add it again and again. This is the use case of Maven. So what is the use case of Maven? Whatever the jar files you are adding, that will be persisting in the pom.xml file. While importing the project, since the pom.xml file will be also available, so it will automatically download the jar file and pick it up. Okay. Any doubts in it? Sudhir, Radhika, Ramohan?
Most is it by default available this pom.xml or after deploying the project we will get this pom.xml?
Default. That is the reason I said it is in Maven is in module 4. Whenever we create any project, this pom.xml file will be persisting for each and every project. Okay.
Okay, Mahesh.
Yes. Any doubts in this Maven? Radhika, Ramohan, Sudhir? What is the use case of Maven?
No, Mahesh.
Radhika and Ramohan?
No, Mahesh.
Okay. Ramohan?
Hello.
Ramohan, if you are having any doubts, just let me know. I can clear. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So what is the purpose of this form.xml file?
Since whatever the jar files we are adding, everything is loaded here, right?
Okay.
Whenever we our project, okay, if I share the project code to you, since you are uploading the total project, no need to add the jar file locally. It will download it from internet, right? Directly by using this dependency.
Okay.
Did you get it? Whatever the file we had copied in the browser, we had pasted it in the database and it is persisting here, right? In the pom.xml.
Okay. Without downloading also can get it, no?
Yes, yes. Yeah. Any doubts, Ramohan?
Okay.
Radhika? No? Okay. So guys, if you are not having any doubts, how to transform the fields from one format to another format, whatever the fields we are getting here as our response, I don't want to display these fields as our response for the users. Okay, so I'm just copying it and I am just creating a text file. So I had already created a text file, and while saving the file, just name it with the .json extension. text.json. I had named it as an text.json. So here, if I double tap on the text.json, I'm just pasting it. This is the code. So here, I don't want to display code 1 and code 2 for the users as our response. I just want to display it as a code. I don't want to display it as an 2A code. I just want to display it as a destination. I don't want to display it as a takeout date. I just want to display it as a departure date. I don't want to display it as a from airport. I just want to display it as an origin. Airline name to airline. Seats available to empty seats. I'm just going to save it. Okay. So here, why we had copied this file, since I just want the response in the JSON format, we are getting it, and I don't want to display the input fields in this format. So how many IDs we are getting it as our response? 11 IDs. If the client needs, he just want to display the responses in this format for the users. For example, so we just need to go to the database and change these fields 11 times because there are 11 IDs. In the real time, there are 1000 IDs. So we cannot waste our time every time whenever the client based on the client's requirement. So instead of doing it, we can create a file exactly in this way. Okay. So I don't want to change the output responses here because the format should be same of the output responses while we are mapping it. So I'm just pasting this code to you as well. This is an easy code, whatever we had designed, just modified it, copied and modified it. In order to consider it as unset, we had applied the array list format, the square brackets over here. So here under the transform message connector, we are having an option called define metadata. Under this define metadata, we are having an option called add. So we can name this file anything. I am just naming this file as an American since we are just fetching the data from American Airlines. And the file is in the JSON format. Since the file is in the JSON format, I am just picking it in the JSON format. And whatever the file we had created, that file we are treating it as an example, not the schema. Where I had created that file, I am just browsing it. I had created that file in the desktop and the file name is text.json. I just want the response in this format to display it for the users. And I'm just going to select it. So just by applying a simple logic, we will be able to transform the data feeds from one format to another format, like ID to ID, code 1 to code, code 2 to code, airline name to airline. See here, whenever we are mapping something, code 1 to code, since I don't want to display it as a code 1 for the response for the users, so whatever the response, whatever the payload we are getting from code 1, I just want to display it as a code. And exactly in the same way, we can concatenate multiple to 1. Plus, I just whatever the response we are getting for the code 2, both combined, I just want to display it as our responses in code. I don't want to display it as an airline name for as our response for the users. I just want to display it as an airline. Whenever we are mapping it, something is scripted on the right hand side automatically. So how to script it also, I will just let you know in the further sessions. But as for now, just see the graphical interfaces, how we are just doing it. From airport, takeoff date to departure date, price to price, plane type to plane type, seats available to empty seats, seats available to empty seats, total seats to total seats. So we had configured everything and we had saved it. Under the console, let us check whether our project is getting redeployed or not. We can move to the browser in order to check the response. Let us check whether we are able to get the response in the expected format or not. Yes, we are able to get the response in the expected format, as you can see here. Instead of code 1 and code 2 both combined, we are getting code. Instead of this to airport, we are getting destination. Instead of takeoff date, departure date. Instead of from airport origin. Instead of airline, name airline. Instead of seats available, empty seats. So the 11 IDs, we are able to get it as our response in the expected format. Any doubts for anyone, guys? Sudhir, Radhika, Rammohan?
Yeah, as of now, Mahesh.
Rammohan, Sudhir?
No, Mahesh.
Rammohan, for you? Okay. So guys, if you are not having any doubts, within an hour, the recorded video will be uploaded for you. And tomorrow, do you want the session? I can take the session tomorrow if you want. Radhika, Sudhir, and Rammohan?
Up to you guys. Actually, I'm okay. It's on
Okay.
preparation.
And Sudhir and Rammohan, since tomorrow is a festival, so just let me know whether you just want the session tomorrow or not.
I will join,
Hello,
Mahesh.
guys?
No issues.
Hello?
Mahesh, I will join. No issues.
Okay. And Rammohan?
Yeah. I will also
Okay.
join.
So since everyone is perfect, tomorrow we'll have the session for 1 hour. Okay.
Okay.
Sure. Done, guys. Thank you. We'll meet in tomorrow's session at the same time. Bye. And
Bye.
advance happy Ugadi.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you,
Thank you.
Richard.
Bye. Yep.